Hey everybody, I'm Kimmy. Welcome and make sure to like, share, and follow us here on Facebook, TikTok, YouTube, and Paralinks. I'm your host of Echoes in the Wind, Donna.
Hi, Lady Mystic. I'm also one of your hosts on Echoes in the Wind. We have a great show for you tonight, and it is Greg Kos.
Yay! What's up,
Hi, ladies.
Greg? What's up?
Donna, Kimmy, good to see you
Hello.
guys.
Good to see you.
Yes.
It's good to be here.
Finally, right?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
guys will be in. You guys are going to be in February.
Oh,
That's
were you scheduled?
how crazy I am right now.
Aw, one of those days, huh?
No, I mean going
Right.
ahead and scheduling people.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, we're
Yeah.
scheduled ahead too. I
Yeah.
want to take a few minutes
Busy,
to start
busy, busy.
sharing.
Yeah, but it's this a great Saturday night. I mean, it's probably about zero out here, so it's a good night to go ahead and talk to wonderful people.
Yeah.
Amen to that. Hey, Anne Marie.
Oh, I just burnt myself
Anne
again.
Marie Young.
Keep
Miss
Don't
burnt
do
Anne
that
myself.
anymore.
Marie.
I keep leaning over these candles.
I know
She gonna be like, "This girl is on fire."
you don't want it. You don't want any. You have to be wearing any combustible clothes.
No.
I think she got feathers on, don't you?
That's only at the top. It's it's
That's the
actually
only part
fur.
that'll ignite. Then, right?
It's actually fur.
It's
Fox.
fur.
Yeah, fox fur.
Fox.
Yeah, it's like
Foxy lady,
it's like
who's the lady?
a vest. It's like a vest, and then I put whatever underneath it for my arms.
Okay, we were shared out.
But anyway, so Greg,
Yes.
can we go back when you
Hey,
started
Pete.
with the paranormal?
That far back. Log
Well,
cabin time.
whenever you want to start,
Log cabin.
wherever you'd like to start, where the paranormal came in and how you got involved in the paranormal.
Hey, Miss Barbara.
I uh I was about 10 and I was at Gettysburg, and a lot of people know the story, but I was there with my father, my sister, my uncle, and my grandmother. They took my mother away when I was like 2.5 with polio, and she was gone till I was like 12. So we went to Gettysburg, and we were, when you go into the park, it was the first spot you could pull over because that's the way my dad was. He didn't go from spot to spot to spot to spot.
Yeah.
This is it. We're at Gettysburg. This is the spot. Okay. Even though the it was all around. You know what I mean? So
Right.
it wasn't too long. Probably about not even really a half hour when things started to happen. And we were at an area called Reynolds Woods, and that's where Major General Reynolds was killed on the first day of the battle. And
Wow.
the trees started to move. It started to get a little windy, and as the wind started to blow, it literally blew in all these different sounds, all these different cannons and people screaming and horses screaming, and there was a grape shot going overhead, and it was like we were in the middle of a battle.
Wow.
And I said to my uncle, I said, "Do you hear that?" And he goes, yes. So everybody in the whole group sort of agreed that they heard it. And this went on, boy, oh boy, for over an hour. It just kept on going.
Wow.
And it came in waves. So as the wind came in, and then as the wind would die down, and it would die down. And then when the wind started up again, it would come back in again, like on the tail.
Wow. Hey, Miss Carol.
Hey, Carol. It was something that I would never forget. And
Yeah.
Wow.
when I became, I did a lot up in the UP of Michigan. I was up there quite a bit as a freshman in college, and there were a lot of abandoned mines, and there were things where things got you going with
Hey,
UFOs
Charlie.
and all that kind of stuff, and I just continued from there. I kept it low because of what my dad told me that day when we were leaving Gettysburg. When we get home, you don't say this to anybody.
Wow.
What we heard here today stays here.
Yeah.
But before we left the park, there was a ranger that came by in a car, and my dad started talking to him. And I happened to overhear the conversation, and he was asking me, he says, "Did you guys ever hear this before?" And he goes, "There's a lot of things that happen here, but they never, at that particular time, nobody was keeping count. Nobody was documenting anything that was happening there because this was a long, long time ago.
Right.
If you went ahead and said 1959, 1960, you'd be in the ballpark. So I could have been talking to Mark Nesbitt, for that matter, who was one of the big authors there, who I know now, and I've known
Right.
from being out there and visiting him, and we actually investigated
Hey,
his place of business, and the back end of his place of business was the wagon wheel maker's place,
oh,
who
wow.
was one of the parts during the battle. There were some Confederate troops, and those were the guys that had a retreat, and they retreated up into the top of the Farnsworth house, or they retreated out, and I'm trying to think of her name, the woman that was killed at Gettysburg.
Oh,
Um,
um, Virginia
anyway,
Dare? No.
no,
Er,
I had it in my
Oh,
head earlier, but I forgot. But anyway, she was shot. She was making bread for the Union troops in her kitchen, and there was a 50 caliber round that went right through this solid wooden door that was about maybe 4 inches thick.
Oh
Went
wow.
right through the door and went right into her heart.
Virginia
Oh
Wade.
Pardon me?
Jeannie, Jeannie Wade?
Jenny
Is that
Wade.
right? Yeah.
Now, one of the little stories, and I'll flip around a little bit here. One of the stories about Jenny Wade is the fact that there's not a lot of people that understand that there's only two women in the United States today that are buried under their own flag. And it's one of them was Betsy Ross, and the other one is Jenny Wade.
yeah.
Wow.
So that's part of that. But I had to go back and I had to go ahead and look into things. And I had gone to different places before this, but I was with GRS at the time, Ghost Research Society, and we were at the Triangular Field, which is another location off of Little Round Top and Devil's Den, and we were south of that in this big field where all these Confederates were just slaughtered. And it's a big slope
Wow.
that goes down, and halfway down this slope I went down by myself and I just had my gear, my recorder, and I had a Eddie Plus, and I had a straight EMF meter, and I had a camera. And I went to this huge piece of granite that was right off the edge of these woods, and then out of the woods is where the Confederates came out, and then they charged
Oh
up this
wow.
hill. Now, because of the angle of the hill, the Union forces were actually down on the ground, and there was nothing to shoot at. You know what I mean? There were no targets for the Confederates. They had to literally
Right.
charge up the hill, and they just slaughtered the heck out of them. And I went ahead, and after a while, what was going on up at the top of the hill, because they were arguing over what was coming through a spirit box. You know how somebody will go ahead and say, "Yeah, it said head," and you got like seven people standing there, and then they started, "No, it didn't say head, it said dead." And I
Oh,
can hear it plain as day all the way down. I was like probably 150 yards down the hill, so longer than a
Wow.
football field. And then below me, under at the very bottom, was Rosemary Eileen Golly that was with us. So she was down there with her husband, and I was on top of this spot, and I just started talking. And I am a veteran, and I came here today to talk with you people, with you soldiers, and see if there's anything I can help you with, and say a prayer with you.
yeah.
And just like that, I could feel them. I could feel them coming out of the woods and surrounding me.
Wow.
And
Wow.
the goosebumps were crazy.
Yeah.
And it was like, holy, I can't believe this is happening. And I held out my hands, and just like it's the tingling and the
Mm.
cold,
Yep.
and they were grabbing my hands, and they're patting me on the shoulders, and I'll never forget that part either. But you could tell a story 100 times, and every time you tell the story, you always leave something out.
Yeah. That you forget
And
comes back.
and
Right.
and and my thing at that particular time, and I redo it in my sleep sometime in a dream, when I'm with my guides, who at that particular time were brand new with me. So, and they'll be real humorous about it. Remember when you were so frightened at Gettysburg? And it'd be like, oh, come on, because my main guide is Hoppy, aka Hopalong Cassidy,
Yeah.
Yeah.
big cowboy, right? Cowboys don't get scared.
No.
You just get frightened to death. You don't get scared. Okay,
Right.
but it was one of those things that is will always be with me. And every time if I have an opportunity to go back, the first place I'm going to visit is there,
Yeah.
because those are my friends. Those are
Yeah.
my fellow veterans, and it doesn't make any difference which side it was. A lot of blood was shed there, a real lot of blood,
Oh yeah.
Yep.
and it's horrible what happened, but they're there. And then
Yep.
that's where it took off. That's where it really, then I started getting into basically ITC at that time, because I didn't like what was going on up at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Right.
I wanted to alienate myself. I wanted to be by myself, or a partner, if I was going to do an Estes, and just get in a situation where we're by ourselves, and we're not coming on strong to spirit.
Yeah.
Right.
We're going to be relaxed, and we're going to go ahead and say, hey, thanks, Charlie.
Aw.
It's one of those things that happens that you do not forget.
No.
And
Hello, Anthony.
hey, Anthony, the Wraith.
Yep.
The wraith is in the house.
But those are the kinds of things that started it. I think the first group gave me an opportunity to do a lot of locations that I probably never would have done. We've done a lot of it, all the way from Illinois, going all the way east. I mean, a lot of Ohio, a lot of Indiana,
Wow.
uh, Virginia,
Yep.
places like that. Different spots today that are hot spots. Uh, and it was really great. It was a lot of fun.
I think your girl wants some camera time.
Girl wants what?
Your girl that's with you, I think she wants some camera time. Because your camera keeps going out and I keep seeing her blur in front of your camera.
Is
Yeah,
she?
she's right near you.
You
She's
think
up.
it is a girl, huh?
She's right up front personal.
Greg's like, ooh la la. No, I'm
I'm
kidding.
not I'm not gonna open myself, but
Yeah.
somebody's up front personal and it's I can see. She's right up whoever's right I keep saying she see.
Usually an elemental.
I don't know. Somebody's right up front
Oh wow.
personal.
That's what
Oh.
usually. But that's the extent of it. I
She's asking, so you with the team now, Kimmy?
Okay, I didn't know if it was for Greg or not. Yeah, we are wraith hunters.
We're the rates.
Who are we talking to? Are we talking to Kimmy?
Yeah,
Kim
Yeah.
Anthony's asking us. So you with the team now? So you got to tell him.
Did you get Kimmy that giant banana split Sunday?
If you
Oh,
look at
She
her,
gets
welcome to
one.
the banana
She's the new
split.
member.
look at her
Hey,
name,
Brandon.
Wraith
Hey, Brandon.
Huntress. She's got
Brandon,
Wraith Hunt. She's got
Right.
Wraith Huntress under there. So that's a big yes.
the Wraith Huntress.
Yep, Kimmy's on the team too now.
Yep, that's awesome.
Yep.
You're probably pretty happy about that, huh?
Yeah, she's happy.
Oh, it was for
Yeah.
Greg. So, Greg, are
Oh,
you on a team now? I assumed it
Greg
was for
been
Greg.
on.
I've
Greg
been,
been on the team.
yeah, I'm the Silver Fox.
Yep.
Silver Fox.
We're all rates on the show tonight.
But what's really amazing is the fact that is Reggie has Reggie disappeared again? Was he around last night? Did any of you stay up past midnight?
Mm,
Um,
what was that?
He was going to have a show last night,
Oh, yeah, he did. Yeah, I watched a little bit of it.
yeah, he was with Pierre.
Hey, Roger.
but that's awesome. I miss Pierre.
Yeah.
So it's like people already like when you first like did your paranormal experience. Like, was the ITC already around, or was that something new that had
It was
came out?
literally this was right at the break when I had done probably three visits at the
Oh
stand
wow.
at the Stanley, and my daughter was my cameraman.
Oh.
Oh, that's cool.
So when we were doing it, there were a couple guys there that were working there who happened to be investigators that did the show that did the tours and things like that, and that was Carl Randall and Carl Pfeiffer.
Hmm.
Not Carl, not
Okay.
Connor Randall. Connor Randall and Carl.
Yeah.
See how hard it is when you have to remember a lot of names.
And they almost
Well,
sound the same. That's like a tongue twister.
and
Right, say it 5
they're
times
the
fast.
ones they're the ones that started the Estes.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Now, Tim Woolworth, you know who Tim Woolworth is? He's a big ITC guy, and he always is in uh, Tim
Hey,
Miley's.
Victor.
Hey, Victor. He's in a lot of Tim Miley's Potograph events, and he is another one, a very very big ITC guy, and he's exceptional. His mind is extremely great, and I had an opportunity to spend some time with him. He pulled the box out. I'll never forget this. I had him on my show, and at the end of the show, I says, you didn't show me any of your boxes. I says, you got one from Frank, right? You got a Frank's box. And he says, yeah, I got a Frank's box. And you know who Frank was, right?
Yeah, he's the one
Frank,
that made the Frank's box, right? There's
that's Frank
Frank
Sumption.
Sumption,
It's
right?
Frank Sumption. So Frank is gone. Frank died. He had one of the boxes and he brought it out. And we had like about 7 minutes left of the show. And he just put it down and he started it up. And he said, who am I? And the box goes ahead and it says Tim. And he goes, okay. He says, as long as you're on the money tonight. He says, who's with me right now? And it says Greg. And I almost fell out of my chair. And I said, wow. I says, but it ITC is something that you have to use your guides,
Yeah.
and you have to go ahead and get yourself set up where you do your meditations and everything like we do on Wednesday night
Right.
on the One Spirit Connect, and the people that come into the room that are part of the revolving people that do the show, they all know what what's needed to be done, and everybody that's in the comment section has to share the same intention,
Right.
so that everybody turns into a giant antenna. and
Yeah.
and the thing that I was always very wow about was the fact that all these answers are going via the internet. So you got people in Missouri, or you got people in Nevada, or you got people up in Massachusetts and Rhode Island and Connecticut, and they're all on the show, and everybody's coming up basically with the same answers.
Oh yeah, I had the honor of being a fill-in, and it's one is not as easy as it looks at all. And you know, I think there was at the beginning I had asked. I was at, it was just me like asking the questions, and then you and Carol were under, and I literally asked you like something like how old are you, or something like that, and you were like 47 or something like that. And I was just like, holy cow, it just, he just answered my question. Like, wow.
There's people that I'll actually run into, or I'll get a message from, that'll say, "How do you do that?"
Yeah.
And I
Right.
says,
Yeah.
I don't do anything. I'm channeling, and I'm literally being told what I hear and what I speak can be two different things.
Right.
And it's because of what spirit's telling me, and
Yeah.
it's also the reason that I'm being used as a conduit.
Yeah.
And there's not too many people now that are in the group that don't channel.
I want
Uh,
to do it with my abilities so bad. I don't have a box, but I want to use the sound out plugs in my abilities and see if it works.
you could probably start doing it where you're at right there and do it like with Kimmy and start to develop it and try it. But once again, I'm magnifying everything with what we
Uh,
do on the show.
Sorry for your
All the
loss,
all the
Roger.
all the voices and everything else is just the part that makes it more real.
I thought we needed teams. Remember when you had asked me?
We need teams. There's only one person that we don't have a team for, and that's Mr. Greg Bakken. But Mr. Bakken, it's not like he's written down on the schedule for a certain day.
Yeah.
It's all of a sudden like he's supposed to be around on the 24th. And I don't know if it's happening yet. I have to talk to him. But even Reggie hasn't done it. And
Yeah.
that's because Reggie does things differently. And,
Right.
most of the people that are dealing with the straight ITC, a lot of them, they're gifted, but or they have gifts, but they don't really practice them. Okay,
Right.
they haven't worked at them as much as some of the other people have.
So they always use a box.
Yes. Well, no, they can go back and forth.
Okay.
We go back and forth. One person will be going ahead and doing the actual listening on the box via the headphones, and the other person will be recording the answers. We
Right.
try to go ahead and do like two at a time and have two people trying to record the answers, and that could get pretty crazy because
Yeah.
the words overlap. Sometimes you don't hear all the words,
Yeah,
but
I saw that.
it hasn't escalated any more than it was in the very beginning.
Yeah.
But it depends on who's coming through
Yeah.
because there are certain voices that come through that right away there's some of us that know that voice and
Oh,
know
well.
that can go ahead and cause issues.
Okay.
You know,
Hmm.
different
So
questions be
me and
asked.
Kimmy, we're gonna have to practice.
Yeah, we gotta practice for sure.
And I want to use my abilities with sound outs and see what comes through. And
You
hopefully
see,
Charlie don't come through because he's fresh. I don't
the,
know what he's gonna say out of
right.
his mouth.
Well,
I can
that's
put it
going
way
to be
clear the
exactly
part.
it.
Yeah.
But that's what makes it really, really amazing is the fact that it's the people that make the show. That's the people that are actually participating in the show. You know, they've done some amazing things.
Yeah.
And when you see somebody first come on, and then you see them like one or two episodes down the road, or a couple months, or whatever it takes for that person to come back, and then all of a sudden they're just spitting fire.
Right.
That's the only way to, like Brandon. Brandon's Brandon's even capable of doing this.
Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, Brandon is good.
Oh yeah, for
Sydney's
sure.
here,
Hey, Sydney.
but that's where I went because I got a hold of all these guys. There was a show. There was a show on Facebook, and it was a round table for ITC, and I started watching it, and all these guys that I know, some of the bigger ones too, were on there. And without saying Ron Yakovetti and Tim Rathman and all these guys that are
That
doing the
Ron
solar
dude is
system.
off the chain. Yeah, that Ron
You know,
dude. Ooh,
so they're
wow.
all there, and I asked the question because we had been doing Estes at three different locations all the way from the other side of Iowa, almost in Kansas, coming all the way back. Who's feedback?
Are y'all hearing feedback?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't have anything on. It's
Yeah, I
like
don't
a,
have anything on me. I shared out and turned it off.
I don't have my phone on.
Okay, let me mute and see if it's me.
we could do it all. You could do everybody. Are those car horns?
Okay, I'm
Is it
still hearing it.
is it my TV?
No, it's like a
Are you? Is there a celebration going on your TV?
Let me turn it down. Put it on to shut my dog up.
and it's weird because it's not even echoing what you're saying. I don't know. It's weird.
Yeah,
Is
it's
that
not.
better?
Oh yeah.
Much better.
Yes.
Okay.
So where was I? They had this
Oh,
big
talking about the
round table,
voice.
and we were picking. It's still there.
It's still there. Okay.
We were
It
picking up
it
this,
wasn't there before.
Okay. I'm
and
gonna mute Donna next and see if it's hers.
yeah, let's do everybody one at
Okay,
a
I don't
time.
hear it now. Is anybody else hearing it now?
No,
Yeah, I don't hear it. Let me unmute Donna. Is it anybody hearing it now?
yeah,
Yeah, it's Donna. Okay, let me try Greg just to see.
You want me to go out and come back in?
All right, Greg, can you hear feedback? Yeah, I don't hear it.
are you a Russian spy?
Yeah, I don't hear it until I don't know. Cause it did a little bit with Greg, but not as much.
Okay, I'm gonna do this. I have one other page open. Okay, the page is closed.
Okay. Yeah, I still hear it.
My phone's here, but my phone is off.
Hey, hey, Jenny.
Jenny, good to see Jenny.
Uh,
I don't hear it now. Yet,
I hear it.
is it for me?
Okay. All right, let's meet you again and see. Okay, Donna, say something.
Hello. Hello.
Hello. Okay, it's echoing still. Okay, it's echoing still. Let me try me.
We got visitors.
Okay. Then it's just still echoing.
You want me?
Okay, it's when I mute Donna.
You want me
And
to go
as
out?
soon as I unmute her, yeah, go out and come back in and see if it'll fix it.
Remember where we were, Donna.
I don't remember.
Just remember, follow your breadcrumb trail back.
I'll come find her.
But it's crazy stuff, and that was
Mhm.
where
For real.
we had the ticking, and it was
Yeah.
above the white noise.
Yeah, because it definitely wasn't like, how, like when it echoes, you can hear yourself respond, talking, and this was completely different. Okay, Donna, say something.
Hello. Still echoing?
No.
I
A
thought I
little
heard
bit.
that.
A little bit.
Still?
Greg, say something.
Hello, hello, hello.
Yeah, it's barely doing it, so it's a lot better anyway.
I wonder what it is. Could
I don't
be
know.
aliens.
Could be,
Something
you never
floating
know.
around.
Oh, there we go. It's back.
That was me.
Oh my goodness.
Maybe it's when two of us talk at the same time.
Nah, I
Yeah.
felt a little something. I lit my nag champ. I'm clearing it out.
Sydney says,
Is she a
"Is she a
Russian
Russian
spy?
spy?"
Ooh.
See that you could hear me that time. You
Hello?
want me to go out?
Go ahead, keep talking because I gotta go to this woman at 10:30. So go ahead.
I'm going to go out. Or do you want me to keep talking?
Go ahead.
Okay. You want to try and see, and then if
Well,
not, I'll try it next.
but anyway,
I mean, we can keep.
when when I asked that question of the group of people that were there in the comments, I wrote in there. I told them what happened, and I said, "What do you think this is?" And then I had at the end branched off a little bit from it. I said aliens. And that's when they came back and said to me, they looked at each other and started smiling. And they said, "Isn't that what Frank was all about?" Speaking of Frank Sumption. Because
Wow.
if you remember back in the day, Popular Mechanics or Popular Science magazine, if you opened up the cover, inside the cover was how to speak to aliens or space people.
Wow.
And they gave you, you could get you could mail in for the plans on making a box.
What? Really?
So he started making these boxes. There were a few people in the paranormal community that started to catch on to this. And that's what blew it out of the water.
Wow.
And that's not what Frank was all about, because Frank would give you a box if he knew you were talking about it. And I think it's me.
Oh, the echoing?
Because what
Yeah.
you're talking about, you think?
You guys talk again.
Maybe because what
Okay.
you're talking about.
I was thinking that.
Yeah. It's okay. Keep going.
But anyway, that's when they said that, and I thought, holy crap, because I was working on my second mediumship, and I was still trying to figure out how I could talk to my guides. That's me. You want me to split out?
If it's really
That's
bad, is it bad on you, or can you deal with it?
No, I can deal with it
All right,
if
keep
you
going.
guys can.
Yeah,
yeah, no,
I
it's
don't.
fine.
We
I
don't.
just
I don't hear you echoing.
But anyway, that's where that went, and I decided at that point that I was going to start doing a lot more spirit box work,
Yeah.
because I wanted to sort of implement it into my meditations and my daily work. And if I had a channel that I could talk to them on a daily basis,
right.
they talk to you when they want to talk to you. Okay. And I have three of them,
That
and
is
they come on and they go off. You could go ahead and say, "Hey, please, can you help me with this?" And maybe 10 minutes later, you get a response. It's
wow.
like it goes through the war room. You know what I mean?
Right. Goes up to levels for approval kind of thing.
But they also work the rooms when we do live work. As far as if I just went ahead like Reggie and I, when we do boxes, and he'll do
Mhm.
his, and then I'll do mine. Sometimes you'll see where I talk to my bot, and I'll say, for instance, I'll say, "Hey, Hoppy, can you go to the back of the room? Bring bring Sam with you, and get the people from the very back of the room and bring them forward so we can hear them, because
Wow.
there's people in between that sort of push them back if they have something to say. They don't want them to share. They
Oh,
get
okay.
they do that all the time.
Stop them
Oh
from
wow.
talking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and you'll hear it on Greg Bakken's show. Sometimes you'll hear when the voices aren't really as distinct as they can be, and that's because they keep on they're not close enough. Because he'll do the same
Right.
kind of thing. Hey Jeff. So that's pretty much where it is, and that's what I've been working on for pretty much the
Right.
last 4 years. And when we
Hey,
started the show,
Shaman.
we were we were doing we were doing okay, but we had to perfect them and we had to work on them. And as far as the Wednesday show is concerned, One Spirit Connect, it's anybody that comes on. I ask them to prepare during the day and meditate and ask for spirit's help to communicate at night, and then we do the prayers and we do everything there. Like you
Right.
guys have seen the show. I have the opening prayer and I have a closing prayer.
Yeah.
And the closing prayer is to go ahead and make sure that they stay
Right.
in the
On
in
the
the
other
screen,
side of the
and they ain't
screen.
coming in the living room, okay, or wherever you happen to be,
Yeah, we
because
started doing that.
that's important.
Yeah.
You know, I still love to go to locations, and Mike Wright, who has been around me for quite a few years, he has always been my partner at towards the end here,
Right.
and he does some exceptional work, and I've seen him do work in a place like, for instance, the Rose Hotel, when he was doing just a Estes session by himself in the hallway, and he had a spirit come up and sort of try to sit on his lap.
Aw.
So there's things
Wow.
that happen all the time that make it really interesting. So
Wow. What's been your craziest, like where you're doing your ITC thing and you're at this place? And what's been the craziest for you? Like that you were just mind blown over.
I'm coming to the realization that
Hey, Stu.
this spirit was trying to straddle me
Oh.
What?
as I was doing a spirit box session at a place that's Broadhead Manor up in Wisconsin up here, and it
Yeah.
was Michael. Reggie was down the hall or something, and I was sitting at one of those kids' desks, or that they used in high school. The seats
Yeah.
open. You got the tray in front, and it was really cold, and I didn't have any gloves on, and I was holding on to my antenna, and I was just going ahead and speaking the words like I normally do, and there was somebody that was recording them, and as I was doing that, all of a sudden my hand became a lot colder, and not only did it become a lot colder, it started going up my arm, went across my shoulder, and then it sort of went down the middle of my back, and in my mind I started almost imagining some sort of creature that was on me right like that, and they were trying to
Right.
get their one leg around me to straddle me.
Wow.
And I told them, that's it, you're out of here. You weren't invited. Back off.
Right.
And it wasn't even 2 minutes. They were backing off because my hands started to warm up. And then I just kept on doing the session. And then they tried the second time. And that's when I had to tell them that they were out of here. They weren't welcome. They had to leave, period.
Yeah.
And it didn't try again. And we found out later on it was two young guys that they say are spirits around there that are loaded all the time. They're always drunk. So they like to play
Wow.
games. So that was one of them he thought it was funny to go ahead and try to straddle me like while I was doing what I was doing. So that was
Wow.
one of the most unusual ones. The other one was Mansfield Correctional, the prison in Ohio.
Okay, the
And
8 mile,
I
not the 8
and I
mile,
was
the
I was all by
Shawshank.
myself. And this is after I had done all my filming on the other. This was in the West Cell Block. The whole first part of the evening and night was in the East Cell Block. And
Wow.
we were called upstairs at 2 o'clock, and there was a challenge that the guy that sort of ran the festivities that night said, "Okay, here's the challenge. The the third tier, it just goes out, okay, and the only thing that prevents you from going over is a metal rod, and there's a cable that goes out that's not even really waist high. It's about there,
What?
but now there's no lights,
So you're in the dark.
so you're in the dark. So he said, "Who wants to go first?" And I says, "I will." And this lady said, she says, "Well, I want to." And I said, "Okay, be my guest. You can be first." And the thing, you go down a ramp, and then you're on the tier, the cell tier, and it goes to your right and hits a corner, and it goes all the way down.
Wow.
And then it goes around, and there's another corner down there, and then another corner, and you start coming back, but you cannot see. So the only thing they allow you to carry is a little voice recorder, but no light. So I had my voice recorder with me, and she came back, and I figured, well, if she can do it, I can do it. So I
Right.
went down. I went down the ramp, and believe it or not, the farther I walked, the darker it got.
Ooh.
So I mean, just when you thought it couldn't get any blacker, it would
You
get
got black.
blacker.
Yeah.
And then
Oh.
I had footsteps behind me,
Ooh.
and then I
Mm.
would stop, and then I'd start to walk again. I had this arm up because that's where the jail cells were, and
Yeah.
I expected if they wanted to really go ahead and screw with you, they'd have somebody jump out of the cell and grab your arm,
Yeah.
right? Or a spirit would. But I
Right.
just kept on going like that, and I
Right. It
stopped the
says
second
Spinal
time.
Tap.
And when I went around the corner, something grabbed me by my left cheek,
Ah.
They're
and
getting a little freshy fresh.
I just went, nah, nah, not tonight, and I kept on walking,
Hey, Arthur.
and I got back. Nobody could tell anything until everybody had walked, and there were only like 5 people to one.
Yeah.
So then we've shared our experiences and found out that way down at the end of that corner down there, the first corner where I got grabbed was where they had a gay community of people in the cells that was all by themselves in that corner. So that's why I was grabbed, and it
Oh,
happened to two other guys.
okay.
Wow.
So they were saying, like he looked at me and he starts laughing. He says, "Well," he says, "you must have a nice,"
Got a
and I
nice
was
booty
like,
booty.
Yeah.
no,
That is crazy.
but it's one of those, and if you ever get the opportunity, anybody does to go to Ohio State, and that's where Shawshank was.
Okay. Shawshank.
Oops.
That's
Oh,
where
oh,
they
I saw
filmed
the
it.
eight mile
So
for it.
Morgan, they have full size cutouts of the actors, and they're
Oh, wow.
they're they're around different areas in the cell blocks. I went all the way down to the west side. It was like 3 o'clock in the morning. I was all by myself, and I was just filming with my camera, with my movie camera, my IR camera, and I had my recorder with me. And all of a sudden, it was like, what the hell? Somebody was throwing pebbles at me. So I got down so far, and I thought, no, no, they're screwing with me. I turned around and I said, hey, can you stop it a little bit? It was like, nah, I didn't hear anything. And I kept on walking, and it's pitch black. And I got about almost to the end of the cell block, and I went in my pocket, and I have those little flashlights like these.
Mhm.
And I turned it on, and I had it just pointing straight down in front of me. And I took like 3 steps, and I looked straight up like this, and then the flashlight went up, and Morgan Freeman was right in front of my face.
Yeah.
Oh man. I guess probably enough you're probably in this dark place anyway, and then you have these statue,
Yeah.
cutouts. Oh my god.
It was one of those nights when we left, and there were three of us that got in the car, and we had talked to each other and said, we have to remember that when we leave the building, we tell them that they have to stay.
Yeah.
And there's all sorts of different ways of coming across with that, and I've learned quite a few from different people of things that you can do. You can reach down if there's a sidewalk that separates the building from the parking lot, say, and there's a little gravel area outside of the sidewalk. You can pick up a pebble and you can put it in your
Oh,
pocket, and then say before you leave that if there is anything that is really with me right now, you have to stay here and you have to stay with the rock. And you go across the sidewalk and you drop the rock. Compared to people that are smudging themselves, and which I'm not saying any of it's wrong. It's just different techniques that you learn down the road, and
right.
depending on the circumstances, because some people, they don't want to do anything. They want to go home. And those are the ones that throw all their gear in the trunk of their car, and they get home and,
See how blurry he keeps getting?
Mhm.
oh,
It keeps
what?
focusing.
Yeah. You keep getting blurry and trying to focus. You just did it
Wow.
again.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I just saw that.
Yep. It gets
Wow.
worse. Sometimes
Trying to
it's not
focus
so
on
bad.
something.
Sometimes it gets worse. Something blurry right in front of you, and then it tries to focus. I've never
Yeah.
seen a camera do that.
I
Yeah.
haven't. I haven't. I don't really have anything down there except for that
Yeah.
elemental that I've heard of. And a lot of you, all the psychics that come on that I've had on my shows and everything, they all say the same thing. Said, "Who's that guy back there? Who's that?"
Yeah. For
So
a
I don't ever
second,
see a guy. I see a lady. I always see a lady back
I
there.
always see a lady,
Well,
but right back, right where there's like suitcases right there. For a quick second, I looked while we were talking and listening to you. I had looked, and it was like somebody was standing there tall and like bending over, and it was just quick and gone.
Now, to give you a breakdown of that you can see in that very corner off the edge of the this tapestry here, that's a spiral staircase.
Yeah.
Right.
And that goes upstairs, and then the light is in the kitchen, and when the missus goes by, you can see the shadow.
No, this person had clothing on. It was like tan.
I don't allow any spirits in my basement with clothes on. No, I'm just kidding.
And it was just standing right there, but it was like, I mean, I just saw it real quick, and it looked like it was bending over and then stood up, gone. But it
I
wasn't the woman that I saw in the pencil skirt. No.
there are people that don't like the fact that there are some people that do the kind of work that I do and my
Right.
Reggie does and that in their own abodes. It's like they got to do it somewhere else. But I say my prayers, and if they want to come talk to me, they can come talk to me.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah,
not
I
I'm
know
not
what you're
against
saying.
any of that.
Yeah.
There's no way you could. There's no way anybody in this field can continue to go on without recognizing the
Yeah.
fact that every once in a while there's things that happen.
Oh, yeah.
Greg, I've
Definitely.
also seen a
It's-
mill spirit in your basement.
There you go. Thank you, Carol.
you sure it's not me, Carol?
Nope.
Oh,
He was just sitting
we
there,
be
and
seeing Greg.
he was right behind you as you were talking to us. He was right behind you, right at that case at the corner of it, like the end of it at the corner.
You're talking about
Not towards the stairs, towards the,
there?
yeah. Yes. Yep.
That's a Christmas tree box.
No, in between the Christmas tree box and the trunks, whatever's up against that wall. It looks
That's my dad's stuff.
okay. It's a trunk, a black one, and then a tan one
Right. And
right
there's one
there.
on top of that,
And
and
then
there's a
when I
white
just
one.
said it, I just recognized it. You just blinked. You just blinked. You just blinked.
That's neat. That's neat.
It's
But
his
that's really cool.
electromagnetic personality.
Yep.
Right.
All right. It's already 10:07. I don't need to cut this short. We need to have Greg back again. Um,
Awesome.
I have to
Get
Round
yourself
two.
ready.
get myself ready.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I hope the best for you tonight, and I'll say a
We'll be
prayer.
praying for you, Donna.
I mean, I don't know if we want to say it quick, what's going on, so people know.
It's up to you.
Actually, actually, I just did a cold case. I mean, everybody knows I've done cold cases. I've done them for 4+ years. This one was very horrific, and I've done horrific ones before. Um, I picked up
Hey, Brian.
something that he did to her. I don't know if I should say, but violation wise, as a woman, and then the rest. And the type of psychic medium I am, we're all different. We all take information different. We're all different. And how I work is I read their eyes, their iris, and the rest of their eyes. And then I channel, remote view, and contact spirit. And when I did, I saw everything that happened. But not only that, and feeling, I always take on what they feel, I feel. Thank you, Brian. Um, this time, for some reason, I woke up and I have bruises all over me. So I'm going to a life coach. Hopefully, she can help me. And she's going to teach me how to stay safe and look up into it instead of me going into it. Some cases I can go fully in, some I can't, and you just never know what you're going into. And this case left me with a lot of bruises. So, yeah.
Well, we don't want you to do that anymore.
So, just let everybody out there know doing cold cases is not easy as you think. Be careful what you do, careful what you wish for, because this one really got me. And I can barely move. And I almost didn't do this live tonight. Kimmy almost did it by herself.
Oh, I'm glad you're here, Donna, and I'm glad you're going to this person tonight.
Yeah.
You know, that's the most positive part
Yeah,
of
she's a life.
what's happened with you.
Yeah. She's called a life coach. She's very gifted. And she's going to try to help me because the way I take on what they feel, I feel. She's going to help me go in a different way to keep myself safe and not come out bruised. I mean, I got finger marks on me, the whole 9 yards,
Not good.
and other things that I won't say on here. I mean, if you're a woman and you've been violated, you can imagine.
It's horrible.
Yep.
So thank you very much for having me on.
Thanks for coming on. We
I really
enjoyed it.
appreciate it.
We'll definitely have to do it again for sure.
It's an honor to make your show, and we'll see you guys on mine in February.
Yay! We'll be dull. Hey, Sarah. Prayers and love for you.
Love you,
All right, we'll go
Sarah.
And Marie
backstage.
Young,
Make sure to
hey,
hang on. Donnie, you want to?
You can close out the show. I can't right now. I'm choked
Okay.
up.
We love y'all. Thank y'all for coming on.
thanks
Bye.
everybody. We'll see
Thank
you
you,
guys
Greg.
later.
Thank you,
Thank
Greg.
you.